guys, welcome back to the GSTL. We've got one champion down already, and we got to hear some thoughts, I think, from the coaches about how this first match went.
Exactly, we have a quick interview, of course, and let's see what they have to say about Life versus Gumiho. And one champion, as Wolf just said, is down already. It's the Code S champion. On the other hand, we have the WCS Global champion coming up next, the World champion, so to say. But let's have a quick look what the coaches for StarTale and FXO have to say about game number 1.
인터뷰하도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 StarTale 펀치기 김광복 감독님 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 네, 그리고 FXOpen의 이형석 감독님 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
반갑습니다. 네, StarTale 펀치기는요 세 번째 결승 진출을 노리고 있고요. 또 FXOpen은요 2시즌 연속 결승 노리고 있는데요. 자, 감독님을 포함한 우리 양팀 사람들의 분위기.
StarTale is trying to get to the third finals, and FXO is trying to get to the second consecutive final. They won last season against Slayers, of course. Slayer now disbanded and doesn't exist anymore. Most of the players actually joined SKT1. Not most of them, but a few.
Yeah.
도전한다 입장으로 왔거든요.
And of course, here is Choya. Such a
자, 이미 아까 제가 말씀드린 것처럼요 MVP가 올라가 있는데요.
They're coming into this game as a challenger, so they want to do the best to win against StarTale and of course go to the finals. So that's actually a cool mindset. It's like we are the challengers. Actually, it's gonna be tougher for us than you. I think that's a very humble way of looking at things.
Yeah, I feel with how well StarTale does in the individual leagues and tournaments these days, it's pretty accurate, but it's still pretty awesome to see that they approach it this way and not think, okay, we are the champion in the GSTL, we're going to take you out easy.
자, 그렇다면 StarTale 펀치기에 대한 반응 들어볼까요?
They think Choya thinks that StarTale thinks that FXO is an easy team, but at the same time, he's still going to make it to the finals. He wants to defeat MVP there, so basically what he's saying is don't underestimate us.
자, 두 경기는요, 우리 StarTale 펀치기 올킬로 이겼었고요.
And they showed that in the first game. Gumiho with a win over Life.
FXOpen이 이겼거든요. 자, 그렇다면 오늘의 경기는 어떤 식으로 누가 이기게 될까요, 감독님?
StarTale defeated FXO twice, also with an all-kill, and StarTale, what? That didn't make any sense.
I think that FXOpen only has beaten StarTale one time in the past, so it's just some extra additional information for you guys.
이번에 또 이기면 또 우승할 것 같아요. 그래서 꼭 이겨가지고.
When StarTale beat FXO, they weren't able to become the champion, but when we beat StarTale, we were able to become the champions. So it'll be the best if we were able to win.
자, 그렇다면 우리 마지막으로 감독님이 한번
Just a lot of backstory here.
Yeah. A little bit weird, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. To me, that sort of talk is really just meaningless. But
yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, guys, you played in the past. Yeah, you have a 2-1 record, but what happened after who beat who doesn't really matter.
Yeah, all that matters now is who wins today.
Exactly.
최근에 스타테일이 GSL이랑 MH랑
and of course, a little bit the outlook of what exactly is going on. So let's see what the next few questions are going to reveal here.
GSTL은 저희한테 양보해 주셨으면 좋겠고 오늘 경기 끝난 후에 추첨해가지고 제 키보드랑 동영이 키보드 나눠드리니까
아 그래요?
경기 끝난 후에 안 가시고 기다리시면 추첨 통해서 두 분께 드릴 예정이니까
winning all the tournaments like IPL and of course
저도 주나요?
BWC, MLG.
깜짝 이벤트군요. 네, 같이 합시다. 네. 자, 이상요 우리 StarTale 콘티가 FXOpen 만나봤던 잠시 후에요. 팀 인터뷰로 돌아오도록 하겠습니다. 자, 이끈 킴 나와주세요.
Ah, okay. Our translator had a bit of a hard time understanding the StarTale coach here. Apparently didn't talk loud enough. But still, if you compare how much they talked, it's like Choya had like 90% of the talking. The StarTale coach was sitting there like, nope.
He definitely got most of the dialogue for sure.
They didn't mention the game.
Yeah. Not really.
I am so annoyed. I wanted to hear them talk about life in Gumiho.
Yeah, they were just like, well, you know, a few months ago when we played each other, I won and then you won, and when I beat you, then this happened, and I was like, all right, guys, thanks for the history lesson, but
yeah, I want to know
about that last game. Exactly. That was insane.
Last game,
what about the future of this match, particularly?
Parting, exactly. Parting being sent out as the second player, another champion. That's something that I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear about the thought process. Yeah, we talked to Parting earlier, and we know his thoughts on this. But still, if Parting wins now, then suddenly Life and Parting are out. This would be crazy. It would be so sick. So I actually thought a couple of questions in this direction would have been helpful here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, either way, we're going to actually watch the match unfold in front of us right now. The map that has been chosen is Daybreak, a pretty straight-up map for Parting to have chosen to play a Protoss versus Terran. And I'm really wondering what kind of strategy we're going to see from him. Normally, we would expect to see him against a Zerg player like Leonok. That's what you discussed earlier. But he says he's feeling pretty good against Terrans as well right now. So that's pretty cool.
And while we have him on camera in a few seconds, enjoy the pink mouse. It's probably not going to stay there for a long time. As soon as he gets his new StarTale mouse, he won't use it anymore.
He's probably going to try to position his hand very carefully so it covers up that his mouse
can't
is in fact
see it,
pink.
like,
Yeah.
Nah, I think he's fine with it, but yeah, it's become a little bit of a running joke. And he said so many people actually tweeted at him about his mouse, and he's like, we shouldn't have started this.
Well, it's unfortunate for him, but you know what? You got a pink mouse.
It's funny.
When you have a pink mouse, you have to accept the responsibility of what that means for you.
Some of the other StarTale players have a light blue mouse. I can't remember who it is, though.
Yeah, see, if you have a light blue mouse, that's usually okay, but you pick the pink one, you got to live with that.
Yeah.
That's what's happened to him here.
He wanted to have a different looking mouse, and that's what he got, so now he has to live with the banter. But on the other hand, he's a tough opponent to meet for Gumiho, but Gumiho just played so well in the first game. If he can perform as well against Protoss as he just did versus Zerg, Parting might be in trouble here. This is going to be another epic game. There he is, to the left, the global champion, StarTale Parting.
Yep. You know, some people would argue, because of his victory there, he is the best player in the world right now. And we already saw, like, a two-time champion, or just right back-to-back. He won Code S, which is one tournament that needs the most preparation, one of the most prestigious tournaments. Then he won MLG, one tournament where you kind of had to play against a ton of different opponents really fast without any preparation. He was able to win both those back-to-back, two completely different types of tournaments. He was defeated by Gumiho. Now it's Parting's turn. He is the world champion, and he's coming out second. If he loses here, then how is the StarTale coach going to feel about his choices? It's going to be a pretty rough and bumpy road after that, so he's got to take this win. Everyone's eyes are on him right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a very... It's a lot of pressure, you know? It's like he has this reputation now that he won the WCS Global Finals, he did really well in the previous weeks, and he has to win against Gumiho now. Game number 2 coming up next year at the GSTL, StarTale versus FXO, brought to you from Lone Wolf. To the bottom left starts the WCS Global Champion, the second player for Team StarTale. It is a Protoss, and his idea is...
StarTale! Parting!
A second player who has to face the strong Terran, starting for Team FXO. Parting wants to accomplish what life could not do. To the top right of Daybreak, we have his opponent. He is...
FXO! Gumiho!
Nine-tailed fox, man.
Amazing performance in game number 1. There he is with his towel.
That shot that we just have on camera right now is actually exactly what Gumiho is. It was perfect capture. Well, Gumiho's starting at the top. We'll see what sort of build he has planned. He probably expected that Parting is someone he could end up facing if he took that early win, so he may have prepared something special. It's impossible for him to have known what map he was going to be playing on, though. And in this case, it looks like he's actually going to go for a command center first once again.
Yeah, well, it very well looks like it. I'm very curious to see Parting here out first. I actually expected to see him a little bit later, because he said he wants to play against either Leonok or a good Terran, but I really didn't think that he would be sent out as the second player. The StarTale coach, as you already pointed out, Wolf, earlier, is taking a little bit of a risk here, but if it pays off, then he has a very strong player to play the next few games, and the pressure will be on Team FXO. Because if Parting wins here, who do you send out? You have a couple of very good Zerg players, a very Zerg-heavy lineup with players like Lucky, Leonok, Sirius, JKS, and Whale. But do you really send out a Zerg player against Parting? That's usually a matchup that you try to avoid. So you can either try to go for a different Terran player with ASD and the best, or you have to go for the Protoss mirror. So if Parting wins here, it's a bit of an awkward position, I feel, for Team FXO.
Yeah, that's very true, actually. So we have really interesting builds. The barracks for Gumiho was a little bit late. It's like he suddenly decided he didn't want to go for a command center first. Now he's going to make it. And the Nexus goes down actually before the command center. He made it before core, but he didn't pull out, he made it before core, but he didn't pull out a gas. So now he's still got the gas and mining. His core is going to be a little bit later. This is a pretty unique build. You very rarely see players do this exact type of Nexus before core, and he hasn't scouted anything of what Gumiho's done, so it's pretty risky, in fact.
Yeah, he sends out his one probe now. We also have the FXO Terran sending out his first SCV to get some scouting information. Parting actually is trying to dodge the Xel'Naga watchtower here and sneak in at the natural to have a quick glimpse if there is an expansion for Gumiho or if the Terran player is trying to go for a one-base play.
Yep, Probe will actually get in here and see it because the Marine is out of position. Really important information to have. Now he knows everything he saw just in that 1 second period with that probe is all he wanted to know. And now this Marine is going to get important scouting information, but I don't think he's going to get home alive.
Oh, I actually just might.
Maybe so. The Stalker is not out yet.
Turns around after seeing the Nexus and of course the Nexus timing, and then moves back immediately. The Stalker will not be able to catch up, so he's going to save it. The probe, by the way, is still hovering at the 4th base at the mineral line.
Yeah, he could actually use this for something if he wants to. The Marine is barely not going to spot it, I feel. It's going to be close.
I don't really expect him to build a pylon here, but yeah, he might. He might just use it later on for additional scouting. We have now 2 gates for parting. 3 gates. He wants to go for some aggression.
Yeah.
Look at this.
And with the probe available to him, it's going to be really easy. The Marine has no idea, and this is a great map to be aggressive. Your opponent only has 1 bunker. You get so much surface area on that because the area is so wide.
He looks for the SCV. You can see him with the Stalker to the top left just scouting and having a quick look if there is another worker hidden for Gumiho that might scout what's going on. He just tries to cover all the spaces, controls the Xel'Naga watchtower. The Marine just not seeing this one probe that is still at the mineral line.
Oh, wow, and the pylon goes down. He didn't see it.
And
so
there's
close.
Only 1 bunker, Wolf.
Yeah, it was only 1 bunker. He will not be able to actually hold this. I mean, he's probably not going to die, but he will lose a lot of SCVs as natural. And he'll probably have to lift it as well.
Yeah, this is going to get very scary here, especially if Parting waits for the second round of warp-ins, which he most likely will. The Marine at the bottom scouts the Zealot, decides that it's time to head home.
Will he start a second bunker as a response to this? That's the question. Because that Zealot being there is a little bit strange. Now he's going to go... He's heading right towards that pylon, but he misses it again. And like you said, waiting for the second warp-in is the smartest choice Party can make. But he's been spotted now, and he will need to get that bunker up right away. His units are actually out on the map, and he needs to pull those back.
That could have been devastating for Gumiho, but he sees what's going on. He builds the first Marauders. He just started Stim, and he starts another bunker, but these are a bit late. And Parting can do a lot of damage here if he executes his unit control well.
Uh-oh. The Hellions actually sneak around, but he wants to actually get them in here to do some extra DPS if he can. Good repair on the bunker, and Parting needs another round of units first before he can actually commit.
Parting is not going to commit. He started his probe production again. He warps in Stalkers at home because he wants to intercept these Hellions. He's just poking, delaying his opponent's economy by killing the mining time and forcing him to build additional units. Nice block here at the ramp. Yep. Parting has a look and he's like, okay, well, I'm not going to break through here. I might as well just focus on my economy again.
Yeah, he can try to pick off some SVs, like you said, force the lost mining time. Hellions are spotted again by a third Stalker he sent to the north, and this is just great play defensively by Parting here.
It's a little bit awkward for him, though, now. You want to go for the 4-gate pressure, and your opponent suddenly scouts you. If not for that one Marine scouting, Gumiho's troops would have been caught at the bottom of the ramp, and with a good force field, the StarTale party might have killed all of them. Yeah, exactly.
If you get trapped outside, you kill the Marines, and
what you gonna do? Exactly. You might have 5 bunkers, but if there's nothing in the bunker, then it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, certainly not. This is really interesting, by the way. Gumiho's decided to make these Hellions. They're not really working out for him at all. He's trying to use them to get some scouting information, but they haven't really accomplished anything.
Yeah, but you know, that's only because Parting played so well with his defense. If he didn't warp in those 3 Stalkers at the main base, but maybe at the front, then the Hellions are uncontested, roaming at the natural in the main base and can take down Harvester after Harvester. So I feel the Hellions are not the worst idea here, it's just that Parting completely shut it down.
Absolutely, and this is why Parting actually has to keep these Stalkers in the main base, because he knows that there could be a Hellion drop. There's 7 Hellions on the map, in fact, right now.
Parting with Parting style. This is kind of what he did when he first emerged, when he was able to get into Code S. He goes straight into Storm, heading for a charge here. He does not have a robotics at all.
Yep. No.
Unless I missed it, but I don't think so.
He skipped it. Just totally cutting it out of his build.
Usually what Parting did is build the robotics, head straight into the Storm tech afterwards, and just use the robotics time for up to 6 or 7 observers to get like a legal map hack in the game.
Yeah. And in this case, you know, instead of getting the observer to scout, he actually attacked to scout what his opponent was doing.
Heavily supply blocked here.
Yes, and these Hellions may change that. Good feedback here, but the sentries are targeted by the Hellions, which now are trapped, but that's all you needed to do. Now you can actually come up this ramp really easily. The Archon is being morphed, but it's way too late.
Yeah, there is no storm available to him, so he can't use it on the ramp. Gumiho is hightailing it out there as he sees the additional warp in for his opponent.
He doesn't have exactly what he needs just yet. He needs a bigger army. He doesn't even have combat shields ready. And the thing is, those 7 Hellions could have been a lot more Marauders, for example, or more army units. Even though they accomplished what he wanted to do by taking out those sentries and trying to get some High Templar, his army to follow up wasn't strong enough.
Parting still played this quite well. He trapped a lot of the Hellions and killed them. Now we only have 2 of them left. Another one dies to the Stalker here, whereas we have Gumiho now going straight for the Ghost Academy. He already saw that there are High Templar, so it's of course a no-brainer to go straight into EMPs, into snipes, and Parting is chrono boosting Storm. Wants to have this charges done already, and 1-1 is also completed.
Yeah, that's what I really want to touch on here just for a moment is the upgrades. If he actually starts 2-2 right away, which he doesn't quite have enough gas for at this moment, when he starts those upgrades, he's going to be way ahead of Gumiho, and that's going to be something that Gumiho is really going to struggle to deal with. He may force a cancel on this 3rd base, so I think he definitely will, and there's the cancel. He gets out.
The 3rd base is thinning out Parting too much here. It's going to be very difficult for him to defend the 3rd base and the next. Ooh, did he just kill his own Medivac? He targeted it for a second. He misclicked.
Yeah, I think it was just an accident, but
he might have killed it. I actually don't quite... No. The Medivac is on half hit points. Yeah, a bit of a misclick here. The Hellion gets into the main base and scouts.
There's a 3-unit force at the natural as well. He's trying to use. He's just distracting Parting a little bit here. Just doing some great multitasking. This is what Gumiho is known for.
This is very similar to what he did versus Life. It's not the same. He doesn't commit as much as he did in the game against the Zerg player. But still, these multi-prong attacks, just sending a small force over to one of the bases and doing a bit of a damage to the work account.
If he actually can distract Parting at the front and kill the Nexus again, I'm not sure if Parting's going to be able to recover. It doesn't matter how heavily upgraded your units are if you don't have any units to actually attack with or to fend with. He's going in again, and this time he's got 5 Marauders and 3 Marines to target that Nexus while he's distracting here at the front. He's like a magnet here. He pulls him to one side, and then he goes in at the weak point. Oh, now he's got a flank potentially if he wants to use it. Just doesn't quite have enough units, and with the upgrades, he doesn't want to take this fight.
I'm a little bit surprised that Parting is playing this game. Gumiho is completely forcing his own style onto the StarTale Protoss player, and Parting is once again caught out of position.
Yeah, so much loss there.
It's very predictable what he does.
Yeah, it's if you watch it from our perspective especially, it's straight up, all right, look over here while I look at something else. This is something that Parting is used to. A Terran player trying him to pull him a bit to the 3rd base while then walking up the ramp. So it feels a bit awkward that he doesn't leave, let's say, 2 High Templars, just for the storms. Yeah.
At the choke point, I mean, that does so much damage and it will force Gumiho back. But Gumiho is playing a great game here.
Now he's done it. You know, he warped on those 2 Templars. He's actually dropping in the main base though while he pulls him to the side again. This cannon alone is not enough. He needs to pull his units back. And meanwhile, Marines are actually having a field day at the natural. Or the 3rd base, rather.
And here come the units once more at the 3rd. The rest of Gumiho's army is about to attack. Uses the stim. There are so many Medivacs. Are they able to snipe the Nexus? Another round of warpins in the main base. The drop.
He can get the Nexus, and he will. The Medivacs are being targeted, but he actually pulls back, and he can pick up here.
And once more, we have an attack, this time at the natural. He is dropping everywhere. Gumiho is... I don't know what to say. I mean, this guy is not really completely dominating Parting, but he is definitely making him run from the left to the right, from the right to the left.
He looks like he's got him attached to strings. Oh, nice feedback there. Gets the units in the medevac. He gets the second feedback as well.
That was important.
You know, Parting has a slight lead in army supply right now, and I feel he needs to use this to do some sort of attack or pressure. Put Gumiho for the second time in this game on the defensive. You know, he attacked early with that 4 gateway pressure, but since then has put no pressure on Gumiho. And you know, Gumiho knows that there's no robo. I think that's why he's able to do this so well, because there's no observer to spot exactly where his army is going to be.
Could you double check the upgrades for Parting? We have 2-2 nearly completed for Gumiho, and I feel that we have 2-2 already done for Parting, so he has a slight window where he can attack, and this is the time that he uses to force Gumiho back now.
This command center is likely going to have to be cancelled. He doesn't have enough army to fight against this, but with the Ghost, he knows there's no observers. Oh, wow, he can do so much here. He can go for snipes, he can go for EMPs, he can do whatever. A great storm, though.
There's no detection. He has to work with the storms. And Harding is on the run. There's the first snipe. Another one goes off and takes down High Templar number 2. The Ghost Academy, sorry, the robotics is finally being built.
This is a much better army for Parting, but even if he kills the rest of the forces, he won't be able to kill these ghosts, and eventually that's going to become a problem. It looks like he decides he wants to fight it regardless.
And he moves in. The charge upgrade is helping him a lot, chasing down this mobile bio army for Gumiho.
Yeah, a lot of Gumiho's army supply is in medevacs here. He doesn't have an army that can really fight, even with the extra DPS of the ghosts. And they're starting to run out of energy, but he is picking up a lot of these units here at the back, while Gumiho has no detection, or rather, Harding has no detection.
There's still an even supply, and the planetary fortress is not finished, so he can't take it down. The Marines are getting surrounded, and this is the time where Gumiho loses most of his army.
Yeah, the ghosts of the back are still a problem, though. And it looks like he will get that planetary. He's going to have to cancel. He canceled at the last second. He loses it, but so many zealots going to go down here. He should probably just get some snipes off. A little surprised he's not going for that. I guess he wants to build his energy for EMPs instead.
He tries to chase them down, but now we have a 4th base built for Parting. And Parting is doing so well considering how much pressure Gumiho executed in the early game. How much he dropped, how much he killed.
Yeah.
The 3rd base especially.
You're right, and that's one opening Parting realized he had, because Gumiho threw so much army supply at him. He lost so many units that he was so low on defensive supply, and like you said, he hit that timing right before 2-2 was done for Gumiho. He attacked at that moment without detection and decided, even though there are ghosts going to do DPS to me, I need to take this fight now, and it was the right choice at that time, and it's a tough choice to make. When you know there are some amount of ghosts nearby that you can't really fight.
You know, talking about the drop play that you just pointed out again, we have so many cannons built by Parting. He's really fed up with this, but he built them at the wrong point, because in the main base, yes, he has 1 cannon, but this job is uncontested. There are no units present.
Yeah, a nuke. Oh, wow. I think Gumiho is the actual Ghost King. He doesn't notice. No way. Okay, he pulls. That was very intense.
But he does not pull it. Now he pulls the High Templars away. In the main base, there is still some damage dealt to his economy. And the drop is now heading straight for...
He's going to lose his High Templar. He loses 1. He makes an Archon to save 1, but another one goes down. Gumiho is just...
You know, the cannons help him also with the detection, but the big problem for Parting is really that he is unable to deal with the drops.
Well, Gumiho's average APM is 253, man, but I swear it seems like 250,000 with all the attacks he's doing. Double planetaries going down to protect his satellite bases here. And Gumiho may be the nine-tailed fox, but I feel like he is the nine-handed pro gamer right now with how well he's able to just come in here with so many different prongs. It's amazing, really, what we're watching. It's art.
It's a little bit like the Noctopus.
Yeah.
His too many arms to keep up with. And yeah, right now, if you look at it, Parting is falling a little bit farther behind, and one of his biggest problems is that he doesn't have +3/+3, because Gumiho will be ahead on upgrades in just a few seconds. Parting is still stuck on +2 armor and +2 attack. He has all these cannons at his 4th base that he's trying to defend, but there comes a huge army for his opponent, and this time he knows about it. Are the storms good enough? Oh my god, he doesn't get off a single one. Wow, that was horrible.
That may be game-ending, because that's what he needed to defend against this attack.
These area of effect spells are his lifeline, and now the Zealots charge in, but this is too late. There are a lot of ghosts. They use the EMPs immediately. The shields are gone. Here comes a nuke that zones Parting out.
3-3 is done for Gumiho, but it's not even started for Parting right now. He doesn't have the resources. I don't think he knows what to do right now. He's starting to produce Colossi, but there are 16 ghosts on the map. Oh my god. Oh, now 14 actually, but
is on a roll again.
Yeah.
Oh god. The StarTale coach thought, well, I saw exactly what happened to Slayers at the last finals. I don't want this to happen to my team. I have to send out my big guns immediately. But Gumiho, he just does not care.
He does not care. He does not stop.
And why does Parting have 3 observers at the same position? He should send 1 to the bottom right to see these drop plays, but I don't think he's gonna see that. Alright, Gumiho doesn't even decide to drop. He's like, well, what are you gonna do? Your army is completely out of position. I can just walk in.
I can just run in here. Colossus pops out. He actually targets it down. He gets the robo as well.
Best timing ever for him.
Yep. Everything is going wrong right now for StarTale. He's going to lose the Nexus as well. Has to cancel it. He may have to GG.
I think he has to.
He's going to lose his 4th base now as well. Gumiho is so well split here.
+3/+3 is done. The Vikings get a 2nd attack upgrade. Gumiho is backing off for now. But he is on 5 bases now. He has the tech advantage. He has so many ghosts. Parting isn't out of this game just yet. But if you don't have to only compare the army supply and the overall supply. It's also the bank that Gumiho already worked up.
Yeah.
If he adds the additional production structures, he can immediately rebuild his army once he loses his main force.
Yeah, there's so many ghosts in this army, which the ghosts are rather... well, there's a bunch of ghosts, there's also a bunch of zealots, and those two, if you put them together, because ghosts do extra damage to light, and the fact that he has snipes, it's just going to be insanely good for him. Ghosts have so many hit points, even though he hit all those storms, none of the ghosts died really, and now he can just heal them all.
Yeah, but still, this is what he needs. He needs these area of effect spells, either the Colossus with the extended thermal lens. Actually, to be honest with you, at this point in the game, you need both.
Yeah.
But he has no Colossi, so he relies on the storms, and he needs to hit some decent storms. The last one was a good one. He needs to hit more, of course, and actually kill something. But now we have, again, to the left, the drop, a nuke at the 4th base, a small force walking in, and Parting didn't see the nuke.
Oh, he has no idea.
Oh! It has to be cancelled. No, it hasn't.
Just 1 or 2 probes going down there, even killing a Marine, but his army is too small. He can't fight any of these armies of Gumiho's. He turns around for a second, loses several zealots.
This is too much multitasking for Parting to deal with. He lost his 3rd again. He lost his 4th. Actually, I think the 3rd survived, but does it matter? There comes the army of 4 Parting, but Gumiho is ready. The storms might save him.
It looks like they tried to, but it's too much. 100 supply up. He can walk through the storms now. He does not care. That is going to be it. Parting has to type GG.
Gumiho with the 2nd win. What is going on here, Wolf?
It's hard to say, man. The pink mouse is not enough for Parting today. What is going on with Gumiho, man? That multitasking in both of those games was unparalleled.
He's on hot 6.
He must be, man. He probably had a can or two before. He bounces in the booth. He bounces like... I don't know, man. He's got some serious multitasking. I'm actually speechless. I'm struggling to find the words to describe his multitasking.
Look at the StarTale coach. He has the same feeling.
Yeah.
He's actually thinking exactly the same. He's completely speechless here. It's like, what? He defeated Life and Parting?
Cutter, who do you send out now against him? Who can be next? Is it time for Bomber? Maybe Hack? I don't think you want to send Curious out yet. I don't think so. Not Squirtle?
Suoshin.
If he were here, as I didn't see him actually earlier.
I didn't see him either. I don't think he's going to play today.
If he were here, I think that would actually be a smart choice.
Looking at the lineup, we have... Do you send out the Zerg player? I think it's time for Curious. The problem is if you send out Curious and Curious loses, then your team is like completely devastated. Yeah. They're like, what? All 3 of them are down?
Hack or Bomber here. I'm leaning more towards Hack, personally.
Do you really want to play TVT?
You don't want to, but you might have to. Because... think about the 3 matchups. Which matchup is the easiest one to defend drops in TVT?
Maybe if you go for... If you send out another Zerg, you send out Curious, he has the map choice, he can pick Whirlwind, it's still available. A huge map, but Gumiho with his bio style might struggle a little bit more than he did against Life.
Yeah.
I mean, Entombed Valley is also a huge map, but Entombed Valley is a map where nukes have been good in the past. I mentioned Maru using them in a game, I think it was against Curious and other players. Whirlwind is a bit more to your favor.
But in TVT, you can't really snipe a tech structure or anything like that. You can snipe maybe like engineering base for upgrades or something if you go into the main, but the style that Gumiho has played has been...
Can you check the map?
Really, really... it's a secret map, I can't see it. But the style that he has been playing has been so, through the mid-game, aggressive, and in TVT with siege tanks, when they're out, it's a little bit tougher to play that style, so maybe TVT is something they could use where, you know, with their siege tanks to defend, you can't really run around that.
Yeah.
Sensor towers as well.
There are a lot of good Terran players for the StarTale team. It's not only Bomber, but we have Hack, Sound, Sparta. Sparta did also quite well in the individual league. So, yeah, I don't know. It's actually really tough for the StarTale team now. You don't expect to send out Life and Parting and them not winning a single map. You're like, okay, well, even if they lose to the second opponent, at least 1 win would be nice.
Yeah, 1 win would be nice for sure.
That's the current GSL champion and the WCS Global champion. So it's like, what just happened?
Yeah, they just got slapped down by the Nine-Tailed Fox.
Yeah.
Who's it going to be? This is actually so...
Curious to the top right.
So important.
Might be him.
It might be, and it is.
Yeah.
one of the best hairstyle improvements the world has ever seen. The top-notch player gets into Code S and then falls into Code A a lot. Need to make an award called the Curious Award for that, but he's been around for a while, and I think that he's improved so much. This guy's someone that people aren't talking about enough.
He was really unhappy with his performance at the WCS Global Finals. He did not get out of the group, and he was really sad when he realized that it's not gonna happen. So I feel this is his time to shine. After life and parting, when not able to defeat Gumiho, maybe it's him. Maybe he's the answer that StarTale is looking for now. They need someone to come through, not only take down Gumiho, but win at least another game and tie the series.
He needs to. I mean, I still don't know the map.
Yeah, me neither, and that drives me crazy. I feel it's going to be Whirlwind, but I don't know, and I feel usually when we see that, Whirlwind actually appears, right? So it's not a hidden map.
I don't think it's Whirlwind. I think this one is actually...
City?
I think this one is actually Muspelheim. But I'm not 100% sure.
That would be an interesting choice.
It's made by Jackie, so it's one of the Jackie maps.
I mean, Abyssal City, on the other hand, is really tough for a Terran player because of the third base. It's quite exposed.
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out very soon what it is. I wish I could know now.
The thing is, just Muspelheim is a map that is usually not chosen this early.
Yeah.
If it is, then I feel Curious has a very straightforward idea of what to do, of what to execute. But regardless, the match is going to be not only an interesting one, this is going to be a crazy match.
Can Curious deal with his multitasking?
That's the one thing that gave Life a lot of trouble and Parting. The drop play in the main base.
The ghosts. I mean, the ghosts were a big problem.
You know, Parting sets up 5 cannons at his 4th, but does not even build a single cannon at the edge of his main base. He built one in the mineral line, but that wasn't enough. If you build this one cannon at the right side and you set up one High Templar, that's usually enough to just go feed back the Medivac and then kill it. But he had not a single observer to the bottom left. So he had 3 observers at his 4th base, between the 4th and the 3rd, but not a single one at the bottom right.
It's a bit scary when your opponent has that many ghosts and you are dealing with Cloak. You want to keep the observers with your army, but at the same time, you've got to be aware of what's going on the map.
He couldn't really stabilize, I feel. Usually he would have done it. In a normal game, that would have been his first move. And you're right, it's Muspelheim. So apparently Curious really with an idea of what to do here.
This is kind of a weird map to play on. It's never chosen this early. This is probably the earliest we've ever seen Muspelheim. I wonder if he's got a special strategy planned for this map.
Man, this jacket is actually so awesome for Curious. He looks like a mobster.
Dude, I gotta say, man,
he looks scary.
Curious, he looks good right now.
Yeah, but Gumiho.
Yeah, Gumiho is a little bit more calm down the booth right now. Not bouncing, not going crazy. Will he continue the streak and get a 3rd win? The map is Muspelheim. This is the GSTL StarTale against FXOpen, casted, of course, by Counter and Wolf.